Hello, Capricorn Risings. Welcome to our monthly zodiac reading for the month of November 2025. We have a lot to get into this month, so let's not waste any time. As always, I'm going to pull an overall energy theme for the month for you guys. We are going to pull tarot for each week. I will go over that tarot and then we will discuss those tarot meanings, discuss the astrology that is occurring during those weeks and how that may play out aligned with the tarot meanings. And then we will pull additional clarifying tarot and oracle cards. So let's see what Capricorn risings need to know for the month of November. New moon in Capricorn. Man, I love it when the energy just kind of lands like that. So this immediately, because this reading is for Capricorn risings, Capricorn, of course, sits in your first house. This is your house of self. This is the house of how you view the world and also how people view you, right? The first impression that you leave. So the new moon in Capricorn is almost like giving you this new opportunity to step up and to be more of yourself, to step more into your authenticity. And here it says step up and lead. Capricorns, you guys are natural leaders, right? You don't have a lot of bandwidth for BS. You are able to work with a plan, see a plan, use a plan, like cultivate something, build it from the ground up. You guys are really able to lead others in that way. So this month could be really providing you an opportunity to step into a leadership position. So let's see what the tarot has to say for each week. Okay, so here in this first week, we have the 10 of Cups in reverse. So the 10 of Cups in reverse can really feel like there is an overall sense of unhappiness or a lack of fulfillment, maybe within your personal relationships. This can represent disharmony within your personal relationships. So maybe a spouse, a partner, kids, family, just an overall sense of unhappiness. Like maybe you're not really, almost feels like you're not quite getting what it is that you want, or maybe there is a sense of disharmony within those around you, and you guys are being guided to step up and be that leader, right? This is the week that Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Sagittarius on the 4th. Sagittarius, this sits in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a very challenging house. Mars is the planet of action, drive, assertion, like really taking that initiative. And your 12th house is the house of the subconscious, right? It is where you keep all of your hidden secrets, the hidden parts of yourself, mental health, all of these things that we keep hidden away from other people reside in this house. And this is also the house of your, like I said, your subconscious. This is the house of secrets. This is the house of like self-sabotage even. It's considered the house of hidden enemies. But to me, because mental health is there, the subconscious is there, usually that hidden enemy is yourself, right? It's that ego, it's those fears and those things that are buried within the subconscious. Those are the things that actually become our own enemy. So with Mars moving into that sign, you guys could be maybe having to conquer some fears. Like if you're not feeling very happy, or if you are having to step up and lead within your family dynamic or within your closest relationships, you may have to encounter some fears. You may have to conquer some fears in order to do that. On the 5th, we have the full moon within the sign of Taurus. Full moons are a buildup of energy, and the light of the moon is illuminating the things that we need to see within that particular sign and that particular house. For you guys, this is your 5th house. So this is your self-expression. This is your creativity. This is your one-off romantic love affairs, right? So if you feel like, if you've been seeing someone, if there's been a situationship, you guys may not be getting along, or you may not be getting exactly what it is that you want out of that connection. You may be really struggling with creativity. You may be really struggling with feeling like you can openly express yourself with those you are closest with. Okay, I had to pause and add some extra light. It's very cloudy and rainy here, so the daylight was not very good. But here in this week, the full moon in Taurus could really be illuminating where there is disharmony, either, like I said, within yourself, even within children, but especially if there's been like a situationship or a romantic relationship that you've been in, something that's been short term, nothing that's been real long term yet, or hasn't taken that step into full commitment. You guys may be really discovering around this full moon that, like, I'm not really happy here, or there's just this lack of harmony. It almost feels like there may not be that happy ending with this particular individual. On the 6th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Scorpio. Venus is the planet of love, money, relationships, value, and beauty, and it is moving into the very intense and depth-driven sign of Scorpio. Now, this is happening in your 11th house. Your 11th house governs your hopes and dreams. It governs the future. It governs things like humanitarianism. So when it comes to this idea of your future, you may really be feeling like, I'm not going to get the happy ending that I want. But with Venus being there, this may be giving you an opportunity to focus more on self-love when it comes, and to focus more on what you value versus what other people value for the future, right? On the 8th, Uranus will be stationing. It's already retrograde, but it's going to be stationing at the 0 degree at Gemini before it transitions into the sign of Taurus. So it's about to shift from your 6th house to your 5th house, okay? Here in the second week, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So we have 2 10s here, 10 here, right? This governs your, so 10, when we have the number 10, this is the result of a completion. 9 is a completion, 10 is the result. It's like the result of an equation, right? It's like the answer here. So we are seeing something play out. The ending to something has already occurred, but it could be something that you are holding on to, like you're not really allowing this ending to take place, or this change or this shift to occur. And so you're kind of, it almost feels like maybe you're at a little bit of a standstill. This is the week that Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde within the sign of Sagittarius. So again, Mercury has already moved into your 12th house, giving you an opportunity to really think a little bit deeper about things, maybe do a little bit more of that investigative work within who you are, what your fears are, what you really desire, why you desire it, all of those things. But now it's going to be stationing retrograde, which means instead of that energy being expressed outwardly, it's going to be expressed internally, right? Here we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So this can represent that there is an energetic block based upon the fact that you are trying to control an outcome. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune represents life cycles that you absolutely have no control over. But it could mean that, one, the wheel is just moving very, very slowly. You feel like time is moving slowly. Like I said, things feel like they might be at a standstill. There's no movement forward, but you really need to take stock. How much am I trying to control? Am I trying to control how, when, and where this wheel stops, right? This is also the week that Jupiter is going to be stationing retrograde within the sign of Cancer. Cancer sits in your 7th house. So this is hitting your long-term commitments. This is hitting your long-term romantic relationships, marriage contracts, and even business contracts. So it could be that area of life probably a really predominant area in your life is kind of coming to a standstill, right? You're like, there's no movement forward. But the thing is that if there's no movement forward, one, you need to ask yourself, how much am I trying to control the outcomes of these situations? Or how can I step up and be more of the leader that I need to be within these circumstances? Okay, because there's a difference between trying to control it versus trying to be a leader, right? Here in the third week, the Seven of Cups. So it could be that there's not a lot of clarity because there is, or like the reason things are at a standstill is because you're not really sure about what you want. You're not really sure about what it is that you want. Here we have the Seven of Cups here in the third week. This cup is associated with Venus and Scorpio, and it can represent that you're very passionate about a lot of things. There are a lot of things that kind of tick the boxes for you. But the thing about the Seven of Cups is that just because you have all of these options, not every one of them is going to be as successful or as fulfilling as others. And that's why you need to try and gain a sense of clarity around what it is that you really want. This card is kind of considered like the shiny object syndrome. Okay. Like all of these things seem really appealing. I want all of these things, but kind of, do you really want them because you actually value these things, or do you want them just because? Right? This is the week that we will experience the new moon within the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio energy is very present, which means your 11th house is going to be heavily activated here in this third week. Again, this is your house of hopes and dreams, future wishes, or future aspirations. This is also the house that governs things like group activities, networking, social groups, and even like humanitarianism. So there's a lot of things that you want for your future, right? But maybe the reason that the energy is at a standstill is because you're not entirely sure what you really want. Like what is going to provide the most value to your life, okay? Now, there is a new moon within the sign of Scorpio. So new moons are new opportunities to set intentions or to plant seeds that you can see play out over the next 6 months. We will also be experiencing a Mercury Sun cazimi. Now, a cazimi happens when Mercury and the Sun essentially line up directly, and Mercury is sitting in the heart of the Sun. That means that the Sun is going to be amplifying the energy of that planet. So Mercury is thoughts, ideas, communication. This can bring a lot of clarity if you allow it, right? And again, Mercury is going to be retrograde. So that retrograde, again, it's going to be internal. This clarity is not going to be delivered to you via another person. It is not going to be delivered to you via a text message, an email, or a message from a friend. It is actually going to be delivered through you through introspection. You're really going to have to go within and really kind of take a deeper look. This is also when Sagittarius season starts, so we will then shift into a new astrological season. And then here in the last week, the Two of Swords in reverse. So there could be a decision that you need to make. You know that there's a choice that you need to make, but you don't want to make it. I don't want to make it, right? This can also represent like you're kind of at a standstill. You're at that crossroads. And the reason the swords are across the chest and the eyes are blindfolded is because this person doesn't want to see. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see about it. I don't even want to think about it anymore. I don't want to have to make this choice. Okay? But you know the choice is there. And the longer you sit there at this crossroads, the harder things are going to be. And the longer you sit there, the more things are going to feel like they are at a standstill. Okay? So this is the week that Saturn will station direct within the sign of Pisces. This is going to affect your third house. This is your house of thinking and communication. And it could be that maybe you make a decision and unfortunately you have to tell the truth of that, right? You have to express that to another person. And that's not an easy thing to do. And you could be putting it off and avoiding having to communicate that decision. Mercury will also be stationing direct on the 29th within the sign of Scorpio. So again, your 11th house is being activated, but Mercury is going direct. And like I said, it could mean that you've actually now made a decision. Let's see what clarifying energy we can get. The Nine of Swords fell out of the deck, so we're going to stick that right there in the beginning. Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords. So with your 5th house being activated here with the full moon, it may mean that you may be realizing, because here we've got a lot of anxiety, you've got a lot of swords energy. Swords represents the mind, thoughts, ideas, communication. So there's something that you've been ruminating over, or you've been thinking a lot about. It could be a relationship that is already separated. Since we are looking at the 5th house, so like I said, it would have been a shorter term relationship, one that maybe you felt very hopeful about, but it's a shorter term relationship, could even be a situationship that you guys have gone your separate ways, but you keep thinking about it. You keep going back to it, and you keep looking at what if, thinking that this individual is going to be your happy place. When in reality, you could be realizing that, you know what, if they were going to be my happy place, it probably would have happened already, right? There could be a lot of, like I said, just a lot of disharmony within that particular connection at the moment. Maybe because you're wanting to go one way and they are currently either wanting to go a different way, or you're wanting to go a different way and they are wanting to go one way. Either way, you guys are going your separate ways, but you're still hanging on, creating a lot of anxiety, a lot of insomnia, a lot of sleepless nights from these ruminating thoughts, when in reality, maybe you need to come to a place of acceptance. Come to a place of acceptance with the Three of Swords in reverse. Now, for those of you who this does not apply to, when it comes to things like creativity, children, even when it comes to maybe even family members, there's a lot of unhappiness. There's a lot of disharmony. Like, people are just not vibing well within this connection. Maybe it's you. I'm not vibing well with me, and I'm not vibing well with the external world. And it feels like, so this can kind of go one of two ways. The Three of Swords in reverse represents acceptance and healing, taking steps towards acceptance and healing, right? And the Nine of Swords in reverse can represent really finally breaking free from this anxiety and this worry. So it could be that you are coming to a place of acceptance that this unhappiness or this disconnect within these relationships is what it is right now. It's not what you want it to be, but you worrying over it, fussing over it, thinking over it constantly isn't doing you any good. All it's doing is creating a lot of anxiety and worry. And you're like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. I can't keep putting myself through that. This kind of separation, this unhappiness, this disharmony, it is what it is right now. And I don't like it, but I can't keep putting myself through the turmoil of trying to change it or hoping that it's going to be something other than what it is, right? Here in the second week, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. So this is interesting. So, okay, with the the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, again, time is moving slowly, or like a cycle is just kind of, this is the downhill part of a cycle, right? It is not the cycle itself. Time is not really moving in your favor. I don't feel like that's because you're trying to control it. This feels more like this is just kind of where you are in this particular aspect of your life. Jupiter stationing retrograde within your 7th house feels like somebody may try to come back. Maybe this person that you were hoping would work out, things would work out. Somebody's going to try and come back with the Knight of Cups. But they may struggle to be consistent with the Knight of Wands in reverse. So we've got the Knight of Cups, which represents taking action towards love, taking action towards peace, taking action towards happiness and fulfillment. But the Knight of Wands is also present, meaning that the action that is being taken is either very selfish action. If we are looking at the context of a relationship, when you see the Knight of Wands come out, like, that's not a good partner. They're not serious. They are too busy looking at 1,000 other things to be truly committed to one person or one thing at this time, right? So with these two together, it could mean that this is, and it could be that this is at a standstill because you're wanting to take action towards love. You're wanting to take action towards a committed relationship. And this person, they are not ready. And it has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with you. And you may feel, and you could be trying to control that situation. You could be trying to maybe convince them that it is the right thing to do, when in reality, like, you can't do that. You can't do that, right? Because this Knight of Wands, like I said, when this is in the context of a relationship, you do not want to be in a long-term commitment with a Knight of Wands. You don't. Because this is somebody who is unable to stay faithful. They are unable to stay committed. And it's just because they're too busy exploring everything else. It literally has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with them, right? So that could be why this Wheel of Fortune is at a standstill, right? Time is moving slowly. You're not really getting what it is that you want. You're ready to move forward. The other person is not, okay? This can, if this is looking more at long-term commitment, just in general, again, I still think the time is at a standstill. Like, the Wheel of Fortune is unable to move because there is no clarity. Especially, you can see that here with the two knights in complete opposite directions. One knight is going this way, the other is going this way, right? You want to take action towards these things. You want to take that heart-led action, but your energy is all over the place. It's all over the place. You're bouncing from here to 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 here. And you're having a really hard time staying committed to one thing because maybe you're not really sure exactly what it is that you want to commit your time to. You're passionate about a lot of things, but are they really going to bring you the fulfillment that you're looking for, right? I think that's kind of what Mercury and Jupiter stationing retrograde, that is what they are meant to be bringing up for you. You're meant to be doing this. You're meant to slow down. You are meant to do that inner work so that you can get clear on how you want to go forward, right? That could be, again, why the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, because this cycle isn't going to go anywhere until you're clear on what it is that you want. Here in the 3rd week, the 7 of Cups, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Page of Cups. So again, this new moon in Scorpio, Scorpio is a very depth-driven, it's actually a very psychic sign because it's very in tune emotionally and psychologically. But here, like, there's a lot that you want, but you are not listening to your intuition, or there's intuitive insight coming in with the Page of Cups. This is psychic, intuitive insight. Like, your intuition could be screaming at you, but you're not trusting it. you are not trusting your own intuition. And as a result, you're not able to make a choice. Right? So when it comes to this new moon in Scorpio, listen to your intuition. When it comes to what it is that you want, listen to your intuition. That is what the cards are telling you. Listen to your intuition, especially with this Mercury Sun Cazimi. Like I said, that Cazimi, that clarity is going to be coming from within. The page is a messenger. A page of cups is a messenger of intuitive or psychic insight. This will not be coming from another person. This will be coming from you. So when it comes to the new moon in Scorpio, I suggest you guys take some time to yourselves. Really allow yourself to sit in silence, do some meditation, do some breath work, maybe even some journaling about whatever is coming up for you. Again, your 11th house, this is what you want for your future, your hopes and dreams, future aspirations, what you want for your future. And listen to your intuition. Trust, and not just listen to it, trust your intuition. Trust it. When it tells you to go one way, you need to go that way. Don't second guess it. Don't pretend like you don't hear what's happening. Step up and be the leader of your life. Stop allowing other people to tell you what to do. Stop allowing other people to influence your decisions based upon what they want and what they do. It is time for you to make those decisions. Here in the 4th week, the 2 of Swords in reverse, the Sun really stepping up and be like, you know what? I am done with this indecision. I am done with this back and forth BS. I'm making this choice. And here we have the Sun stepping into the light, stepping into clarity, inspiration, feeling very kind of powerful and in tune with who you want to be. I love that. And being a leader, somebody really stepping up and being that leader. When you are able to make that decision here towards the end of the month, especially when Mercury or Saturn stations direct along with Mercury stationing direct, you're finally going to have gained the clarity that you need, and you're going to be able to make that decision. You're going to say, I'm no longer standing at this crossroads. And as a result, it almost feels very empowering and almost uplifting to be able to be like, you know what, I'm done with A, B, or C. I'm going this way. I choose D and I choose E and I'm going that direction. And just going. It feels very uplifting and it feels very empowering for you guys. So that's beautiful. We love to see it. Let's see what your oracle guidance is. Keep your commitments. This feels more like keeping a commitment to yourself. Keeping that commitment to yourself. Keeping that commitment to your own healing, that you're not going to worry over something. I'm not going to worry over this. I'm not going to try and control this. I don't have any control over this, so I'm not going to worry about it. And actually allowing yourself to step into that place of acceptance and healing. Something is what it is right now. Here, that this first week, that needs to be like your motto. It is what it is. It is what it is right now. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. Keeping that commitment to yourself. Keeping that commitment to not worry and to heal. Be of service. And so, again, for those of you who you're in a committed relationship, so the love part of all this reading does not really matter to you or does not apply to you. Again, the energy standing still, or the fact that maybe things aren't really going, maybe even your career, right? Things are not really going forward within your career. Instead of focusing on the tangible aspects of it, see what you can do to be of service just because. See what you can do to be of service just to help other people. Coming up in the month of November, there are going to be a lot of people who need assistance. You could really be, it could be an opportunity to step up and to be that Knight of Cups, someone who takes that heart-led, sincere, kind action to, like, on anything, whether that's helping out at the local food pantry, helping out at, your local community center, whatever the case may be. Just take a little bit of that heart-led action and see where it leads you, right? You may not feel super like enthusiastic about it, but it may turn out to actually be more fulfilling than what you realize. It may really turn out, it might actually change your mind on things. Like I said, with the Knight of Wands in reverse, you might not be super enthusiastic about having to be of service somewhere, but I get the feeling that if you took a chance on it, you might be really surprised at how, like I said, fulfilling it actually feels. Here in the third week, reflect on your truth. What did I say? That clarity is not going to come from an external source. It is only going to come from you. So you really, especially with Mercury stationing direct within the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio, again, is a very psychological and emotional sign. So you really, really need to sit with yourself and just allow your mind to wander. Maybe focus on, again, what do I want? What do I want for my future? And see what happens. Reflect on what it is that you really want for yourself. And I promise you, you will gain the clarity that you need. I mean, it shows it right here in the cards. Become a clear channel. I'm not wondering if some of you, if when it comes to your career, you're like, no, I want to go this way. I'm going this way. I've spent a lot of time committing to this particular direction. Something has to shift. So you actually end up volunteering at a community center. You end up volunteering, like I said, at a food pantry, doing something it feels like within the community. Volunteering, being of service in some way. And I get the feeling that it is almost going to open you up, and you may end up completely shifting directions. You may end up completely shifting gears and becoming a leader, maybe within your community, your local community, that it was a path that you hadn't really expected on taking, but it actually could potentially become more fulfilling in the long run, really be more fulfilling, like just emotionally, mentally, physically more fulfilling, spiritually more fulfilling than what you ever expected. So I truly hope this helped. I hope you guys have an incredible month, and we will see you next time.